Joining us now on the show, we have Kabataan Party-list Representative Renee Co. Good morning, Congresswoman.
Good morning, Gretchen. Thank you very much for having me here today.
Well, congratulations on having the impeachment complaint referred to the Committee on Justice. Before I begin with your group's complaint, what happened to the other group's complaint? Hindi ba sila nag-file kahapon? Ito yung sina Ferdinand Topacio, sila Mike Defensor. Would you know what happened there?
To my knowledge, hindi po sila nag-file nung Thursday. I think they had an attempt, but eventually, come Monday, kung saan present si Secretary General, I don't think they proceeded with filing the impeachment. So
wala lang talaga sila.
As I know, ay hindi po tumuloy yung kanilang impeachment complaint.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's go to the baselines. In referring the first two impeachment complaints, that's the Makabayan Bloc's impeachment complaint as well as lawyer Andrew De Jesus' impeachment complaint against President Bongbong Marcos, the House leadership has already triggered the one-year bar for further impeachment complaints. Is that correct?
Yes. The referral to the House Committee on Justice is deemed as initiation of the impeachment process. Ito po yung nakalagay din po sa Supreme Court rulings that interpreted paano yung impeachment. So yes, the one-year bar is effective starting yesterday.
So wala nang ibang impeachment complaint ang pwedeng maihabol laban sa Pangulo?
Kung may hahabol man, ito po ay hindi na i-refer sa House Committee on Justice kasi may one-year bar rule na. Sila ay i-refuse, as I know, sa level pa lang ng Office of the Secretary General.
Parang unahan na unahan, ha?
Yun na po yung unfortunate pa rin. Balancing act siya, di ba? May one-year bar rule kasi may meron tayong acknowledgement that there could be harassment suits, pero ayaw din natin yung nagagamit yung one-year bar rule or even the impeachment process to shield a person from accountability. Ito yung nakita natin from yung yung yearly filings ni Attorney Lozano against PGMA during her term, which effectively barred any more effective impeachment complaints against her. We're cognizant it could happen here. And that's why very careful kami sa handling ng impeachment complaint na to.
So that means hindi na makakahabol itong grupo nila Mike Defensor if they still want to proceed with their impeachment complaint?
I don't think so. Hindi na po talaga.
Do you think there was an effort to box them out, or is it their prerogative not to appear yesterday?
To my understanding, sa bahagi rin nila, tinatanong kasi sila kung sino po yung kanilang endorser nung Thursday. Media friends tell me that despite repeated questions ay hindi siya nasagot. So I think come Monday, that same question was upon them and wala silang ma-float na name. So
Kung
since
sino
wala
yung
silang endorser,
endorser?
mag-endorse. Opo. Sa bagay namin, ang complainants ay private citizens. Ang Makabayan Block lang po yung endorsers ng complaint. I think for that other complaint, baka po wala silang nahanap na endorser.
They would need a congressman to endorse their complaint, is what you're saying. But they could not come up with a name. Okay. How do you see the consolidation of the Makabayan Block's impeachment complaint and the first impeachment complaint by Andrew De Jesus coming along? Do you think that would be a difficult endeavor? Medyo malayo-layo, yung sa unang impeachment complaint, meron dito tungkol sa alleged kidnapping of the former president by the ICC, being a drug addict whose condition impairs judgment and leadership, apart from the failure to veto the unprogrammed appropriations, which could be a diverging point or where the two impeachment complaints come together. Meron din dito the creation of the ICI to shield his corrupt allies and benefiting from kickbacks from budget insertions. Paano kaya magsasama yung dalawang complaint?
At the level of the House Committee on Justice, ang kailangan nilang gawin ay i-assess whether sufficient inform and substance yung both complaints. For our purposes, ang iniisip lang namin is yung complaint namin, yung arguments nito, and yung evidence that we have. We actually saw it as absolutely necessary that the second impeachment complaint is included in the deliberations because, as you see, halos walang similarities yung arguments dun sa first impeachment complaint. I'd like to, for example, point out that kami agree doon sa isang argument na nag-cause ng kidnapping si President Marcos Jr. against former President Duterte to the ICC. That is not the legal interpretation of what happened. No? But more importantly, we believe in the strength of the arguments put forth in the second impeachment complaint. Just to summarize very briefly kung ano sila, una, meron tayong direct testimonies saying that President Marcos Jr., the Malacanang, received kickbacks. This is former Representative Zaldico, 100 billion daw, and DPWH Undersecretary Bernardo, na star witness ngayon ng gobyerno, saying 8 billion daw ang personally niyang hinandle and dineliver. Hindi siya tinatanong doon sa point na yun, which I think, it's unfortunate kasi clear yung affidavit niya sa pagsulat nun, pero parang may pag-iwas doon sa pagtanong kung ano yung meat of that matter. Yung ikalawa naman, yung pagkakaroon ng institutional policy at the level of DPWH that allowed yung paglobo ng allocables ng hindi lang ng leadership ng mga mambabatas legislature, pero cabinet secretaries, even Malacanang. We can see it in Cabral files na may tags na OP, ES, SAP sa mga projects, which leads us to believe that this is na-involved yung Malacanang sa pag-insert din ng allocables or ng projects nila. And lastly, nandyan naman yung unprogrammed appropriations. Beyond yung failure to veto, ang pinoint out actually namin, under the Administrative Code of 1987, for the approval of these items under UA, kailangan po ng approval of the President. And nakita natin na may mga items or projects under UA na ghost and substandard pala na flood control. And may mga items na supposedly nasa regular budget pero nililift nila to the UA to make way for greater insertions. Mas yun po yung stronger argument in relation to UA and less yung failure to veto invoking command responsibility. Because they're all different arguments. And naniniwala kami sa lakas nitong tatlo na to, na acts of betrayal of public trust and therefore an impeachable offense. Kailangan pong masama siya.
And how do you think will the two complaints be consolidated? Will this happen at the Justice Committee level o sa plenaryo?
Supposedly at the Justice Committee level. At the Justice Committee level, pwede silang maglabas ng report regarding the sufficiency of the impeachment complaints, form and substance. Pwede rin silang in that report i-pick out nila alin yung mga arguments that have merit. For example, although syempre isang hurdle din yun dapat may ilaban talaga ng arguments merong ganito. At the level of the plenary, hindi naman sarado na magkaroon ng consolidation. For example, yung nangyari last year sa impeachment complaint ni VP Sara Duterte, effectively nagkaroon ng consolidation sa pag-file ng fourth impeachment complaint. So, may pag-avail ng fast-track mode in the Constitution na beyond, hindi yung dadaan sa House Committee on Justice, pero after pag-receive ng complaint and then the Congress people were able to read it and they're able to talk about anong arguments yung pwedeng isama. Supposedly, napasok yan sa fourth impeachment complaint and then more than one-third yung nag-sign off on it. It's consolidation at the plenary level, so to speak. It's not impossible, but given yung numbers ngayon, I don't think that's likely to happen. Ang mas likely to happen is at the House Committee on Justice, ipupuspos talaga yung arguments doon.
In a way that, in a way that this could be passed? Mas maraming boto makukuha mula sa plenaryo? O, kasi there are fears that the first one was meant to make this whole process fail. Kasi it lacks daw substance in form. What are your fears over how that consolidation could happen?
Siguro ang agam-agam ko ay if there's greater weight that would be provided to the arguments of the first impeachment complaint and then may pag-ignore sa second. But I think because sinama na po talaga yung two impeachment complaints, imposible nang hindi i-consider in the first place. Siyempre, tactics on the floor na lang na kailangang yung makabayan endorsers ng impeachment complaint which will be present at every step of the way for the hearings of the impeachment complaints and sa gilas din ng mas maraming mga kongresistang mag-engage doon sa arguments batay sa konsensya, batay sa prinsipyo. Hindi dapat mag-swing sa favor ng arguments ng first sa second. So
meron
siguro,
meron bang miyembro ang makabayan sa Justice Committee?
Ako po ay member ng House Committee on Justice.
Oh, that's good.
And Representative Tino is Deputy Minority Leader, ex-officio member ng lahat ng mga committees.
Okay. What is your reading of how the SC decision will be applied here? Kailangan nang i-present yung evidence sa Presidente at the Committee on Justice? Isn't this tantamount to trying the case already at that level?
Strictly speaking, hindi po applicable yung Duterte versus House of Representatives ruling sa magiging initiated impeachment complaint here because yung diniscuss doon sa Duterte versus House of Representatives is yung pag-handle ng fast track mode ng impeachment complaint which is yung more than 1/3 yung sign off nito and then directly na mag-transmit sa Senate. So this is invoking a different process. So siguro tangentially pwedeng guided by the Duterte versus House of Representatives yung handling nito, pero it's different subject matters sila. Although again, i-forward ko na the Duterte versus House of Representatives is up for reconsideration pa at the Supreme Court. Lalo na naniniwala, no, halos consensus sa legal community, legal experts also chiming in, na may misappreciation of facts and may arguments po doon na nagsasabi na parang may pag-kill off na sa fast track mode, which is not the intent of the 1987 Constitution. So we're still holding out hope na i-reconsider ng Supreme Court yung kanilang judgment sa Duterte versus House of Representatives.
But does that mean that you won't be applying yet? Kasi parang nagbago rin, although they commented primarily on that, the fast track mode, there were new rules set na kailangan ipresenta yung ebidensya dun sa accused, tapos bibigyan nga ng 10 days to respond. Hindi nyo muna i-apply yon? Is that a Committee on Justice decision?
Perhaps sa discretion ni Chair, Jinky Luistro, she may need to apply the rules set at the Duterte versus House of Representatives. But to my knowledge, these are also rules that are present in the House rules. Pero again, balancing act din na up until now, may stance yung House of Representatives that dahil may separation of powers and therefore dapat may non-encroachment doon sa generally powers that are assigned by the Constitution to these branches. Merong dapat respect doon sa processes na ginagawa ng House of Representatives even at the committee level and then similarly sa Supreme Court doon sa kanilang pag-handle ng cases. We're yet to see kung ano yung mga iba't ibang i-apply. For now, meron pong impeachment rules that was carried over to the 20th Congress. Meron din pong committee rules, yung House Committee on Justice, yun po yung i-apply and so far.
So we expect evidence to be presented nonetheless?
Yes po.
Okay. The Makabayan Bloc says it is also filing an impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. In effect, the bloc wants to remove both the president and the vice president. Who do you propose takes over?
I get this question a lot, Gretchen. But sa bahagi ko naman, I think it's all of this ay matter of accountability. And dapat we have to take these processes of accountability and hindi i-exclude sila sa narrative because of usapin lang ng sino kayang next na papalit. Siguro, ito inopen ko na po to, in-explain ko to in different fora. May constitutional process sa kung sino papalit. Pero this is temporary. Yung papalit po, kung silang both ay ma-remove from office, mag-resign both, ma-impeach both, ay the Senate President, and kung hindi siya, or kung hindi siya available, the Speaker of the House of Representatives. But it does not preclude Congress from passing a law to further detail sino pa yung mga pwedeng nasa next in line sa succession or even yung processes that could involve and must involve the people beyond na simply observing. Pero kung nagawa tong lahat, if both resign or if both are out of office before November 2026, pwedeng ay magkakaroon po agad sa pinakamabilis na panahon ng special elections. And doon po magtutuos ang taong bayan kung sinong gustong ipalit. Sa amin naman, wala pa akong pagtingin na sinong next dapat ipalit o kung ano man. What's important is we pursue these methods of accountability because they're necessary. Hindi po pwede na may dalawang highest officials of the land sangkot sa mga corruption scandals at wala po tayong gawin tungkol doon.
Hindi ba mauubos din ng oras ng ating lawmakers in dealing with these impeachment complaints instead of magtrabaho para sa taong bayan? I mean, 2 impeachment complaints unprecedented in Philippine history here. And taking a look at how the first impeachment complaint against the Vice President went on last year at kung gaano kakomplikado yun. At ngayon naman, sa Presidente, with the third complaint, not getting an endorsement, at yung dalawa medyo parang humahabol pa sa deadline, hindi ba mauubos lang yung oras dito? And do you think these complaints have enough support to get through to the next stage, which is the impeachment trial?
Tingin ko po, hindi naman sayang sa oras. In fact, history is rich with experiences kung paano sila napagsasabay. Ongoing naman po yung mga iba't ibang committee hearings, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung plenary sessions habang ongoing yung impeachment processes. And this isn't even at the trial level, because sa memory ko when I was a little child, yung talagang may pagbuhos ng resources and oras is yung impeachment trial at the Senate. At this stage, where House of Representatives ay dinedeliberate pa yung doon sa complete. Naniniwala kami sa strength of arguments namin. And ang mas important for us dito, ay involved yung taong bayan, involved ang mamamayan sa pagkilatis. Right now kasi po, ang modes of accountability, aside sa pagsiwalat ng information na to, ng mga kongresista or ng mga aktivista or civil society advocates in their own platforms, ay hindi pa nakaka-reach ng pinaka-mas maraming makakaya nito. Siyempre, andyan din yung ginagawa ng media. But if we avail of these modes of accountability, because we see na may shortcomings yung sa ICI, sa Ombudsman, and other processes, kailangan pong i-take to and kailangan malaman ng taong bayan kung ano yung betrayal na nararamdaman doon sa hindi maayos na pag-handle ng powers of the office ni President Marcos Jr. and ni VP Sara Duterte. And ito yung bahagi din ng pag-form natin ng vision of ano bang alternative yung dapat nating hinahanap. Hindi tayo dapat nagsistick lang sa dalawa or sa kung anong mga merong traditional politicians andyan kasi sila yung nandyan. Pero let's aspire for, transparent, accountable, and inuuna ang mamamayan na kinds of public servants.
Of course, the danger here is magtablahan yung dalawang impeachment complaint kasi it's a lot for Congress to deal with. But we'll leave it at that, no? And we'll see. Wag natin pangunahan yung Kongreso sa kanyang trabaho. We'll see. And thank you so much for your time today and for helping us understand the latest impeachment complaint filed by the Makabayan Bloc. We have Kabataan Party-list Representative Renee Co.
Thank you, Gretchen.